In 1900, a group of Greek sponge divers stumbled onto the greatest underwater archaeological discovery in history. A 2,000-year-old Roman shipwreck sitting 45 meters beneath the surface off the island of Antikythera, loaded with treasures that rewrote our understanding of the ancient world, including the device scientists would eventually call the world's first computer. But here's what most people don't know. The wreck was never fully excavated, and diving teams returning to the site more than 120 years later are still finding things that stop archaeologists cold. The 1900 expedition was extraordinary by any measure, using hard hat diving suits and spending only minutes at depth before the pressure became dangerous. The divers recovered bronze and marble statues, jewelry, coins, glassware, and the corroded lump of bronze that would eventually be identified as the Antikythera mechanism. It was one of the greatest single hauls of ancient artifacts ever recovered. Museums in Athens filled entire rooms with what came up from that wreck. But the technology of 1900 had severe limits. Divers could only reach certain sections of the wreck. Large portions of the site were too deep, too dangerous, or buried under sediment that couldn't be safely excavated. After 2 seasons of work, the expedition ended, and the wreck sat undisturbed for decades. In 2012, a new expedition returned to Antikythera using modern diving equipment, underwater vehicles, and advanced imaging technology. What they found confirmed what researchers had long suspected. The wreck was far larger than the original expedition had realized, and large sections of it had never been touched. New artifacts began emerging almost immediately. Bronze fittings, luxury glassware, sections of the ship's hull still preserved under the sediment. And in 2016, something remarkable. A human skeleton, remarkably well preserved, lying on the seafloor among the wrecked debris. The skeleton, nicknamed Pamphilos by the research team, was one of the best preserved ancient human remains ever recovered from an underwater site. Bones from the skull, limbs, and teeth were extracted and sent for DNA analysis. The results were extraordinary. Researchers successfully extracted ancient DNA from the skeleton, one of the first times ancient DNA had been recovered from an underwater archaeological site. The analysis suggested the individual was likely a young male of Southern European ancestry, consistent with the Greek or Roman world of the 1st century BC. He was on that ship when it sank. We don't know if he was a sailor, a passenger, or a slave. But for the first time, the Antikythera wreck had given us a face, or at least a genome, for one of the people who went down with it. Researchers believe the 2012 expedition and its follow-up dives have still only scratched the surface of what the Antikythera wreck contains. The ship was a large Roman cargo vessel, estimated at around 40 meters long, carrying what appears to have been a luxury cargo of Greek art and artifacts, possibly looted from Greek cities and being transported to Rome. The manifest of such a ship would have been extraordinary. Most importantly for our story, researchers believe additional fragments of the Antikythera mechanism itself may still be buried in the sediment. When the ship sank, the mechanism almost certainly broke apart on impact. The fragments recovered in 1900 represent only a portion of the complete device. Pieces that slid further down the slope or were buried under debris may still be waiting on the seafloor. Those missing pieces could answer questions that have puzzled scientists for over a century. They could reveal mechanisms and functions of the device that we haven't even theorized yet. The Antikythera wreck has been giving up its secrets for 120 years, and it isn't finished yet. Every new expedition pulls something from the seafloor that reframes what we thought we knew about the ancient world. Somewhere in the sediment at 45 meters depth, surrounded by the scattered remains of a 2,000-year-old ship, there may be pieces of the most remarkable machine the ancient world ever produced, still waiting to be found. The sea gave us the Antikythera mechanism. It may not be done giving. Subscribe for a new ancient mystery every week.